All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good to see all of you here. Super excited. Um, I will introduce myself in a moment, but this is the info session for machine learning with text in Python, the upcoming online course. And just want to make sure you can see me and hear me. So if you can see me and hear me, feel free to post where you are coming from in the chat. Some folks have already, but love to see where everyone is from. Let's see, Marvin from Germany and Anthony from Texas, Joseph, Atlanta, many more, Seattle, Arizona, Spain, DC. All right, that is where I am living. Seattle, France, India, Miami, San Fran, LA. Oh, this is great. Philly, Philippines. Oh, wow. Mark, if I don't know my time zones offhand, but it might be the middle of the night for you. Spain, great. New York City, Nigeria. Wow, this is awesome. I love the data school community, by the way. It is so cool. For those of you who have been in the community for a while, I sent out some stickers around the world a couple months ago, and I mailed to like 20 different countries. It was great. Okay, let's see. Syed says video stream is not loading. We have, anytime that has happened, the most common resolution is just to refresh your browser, and it will probably have to reload. If that doesn't work, you can always try a different browser or device. And I'm so sorry if you have problems with Crowdcast. It usually works quite well. And worst comes to worst, this is being recorded. And the cool technology is that like within a minute of this info session ending, you can watch the entire recording. So that's just to say that's your kind of out if you really can't get it working. So, all right. So welcome. It's great to see all of you here. As I said, I'll introduce myself in a moment, but let me just give you the agenda for today. First thing, or the main thing, is we're going to be chatting about the course, Machine Learning with Text in Python. I'm going to be walking through the course info page. Of course, I'm not just going to read it to you. I'm mostly going to kind of comment on it, answer your questions about it, give you context to why I created the course the way I did. So that is the main thing. I would strongly encourage you to open up the course info page if you don't already have it open. And there's a green button below the screen that says, click here to view detailed course information. If you click that button, it should open the info page in a new window, and highly encourage you to do that. In terms of your questions, I will be answering some of them as we go, and the rest I will answer at the end. I'm planning for this to go about an hour, and at the very end of the hour, I will, if there's extra time, I will answer your questions about machine learning or data science in general. I'm happy to do that if we have time. And then in an hour, or like 56 minutes or something, enrollment will open for the course. So yeah, that's the plan. Let me introduce myself, and then I want to know a tiny bit more about you. So as I said, or maybe not, my name is Kevin Markham. I live in Washington, D.C., and I'm a full-time data science educator. I founded Data School, and my goal with Data School is to help you master crucial data science topics so that you can begin or accelerate your data science career. So that's my goal. I've been doing Data School for about 2.5 years, I think. And for those of you who are familiar with Data School, I'd love to hear in the chat if, how you first heard about Data School. Was it a particular video? Was I a TA in some course? Do you know me from an in-person course? So yeah, Eric, PyCon 2016. All right. I was speaking at PyCon 2016. the huge Python conference. And if you've not been, which is probably most of you, really recommend it. The Python community is very welcoming, and PyCon is where you can feel it, especially if you don't have like a Python community locally. So highly recommend it. But I was doing that. William, you taught a short course for GA. Yeah, I've taught a number of things at GA, at General Assembly in DC. Now I'm focused online, but Mark, learning pandas from you. Awesome. My pandas video series, YouTube, Twitter. All right. Awesome. Well, great. It's great to have all of you here. One thing I would love to know a bit more about you, and rather than, obviously I can't get in too much depth, but if you scroll below the screen, there's a tab there that says polls, and it'd be cool if you click on polls. And then I've got 3 questions in there about Python experience, machine learning experience, and NLP, natural language processing experience. So I'd love it if you take a minute to answer it. I understand some of you are probably on your phone and it's annoying to have to switch around stuff. Don't worry about it. I just want to gauge the experience levels of the group, and we will tie this back in a little while to whether this course is a good fit for you in terms of Python experience, machine learning experience, NLP. So just to comment briefly, got a lot of beginner and intermediate folks in Python, and a few advanced. Nobody that has never used it, which is good. Machine learning experience level. Some that don't know anything about it. I did a previous crowdcast about getting started with machine learning, but a variety there, both folks that have built machine learning models, either in Python or not in Python, or they get the concept, they just haven't written the code. So all of that is fine. And then NLP experience, natural language processing, is skewed mostly towards little experience with it. No people working professionally in NLP. Okay, so that is useful for me to know. Thank you for sharing that. And as I said, I'll kind of get back to how we can use this information to help you decide whether it's the right course for you. Before I start walking through the course page, I want to tell you one thing about questions, and this will help it work best for everyone. There are essentially 2 ways you can ask me questions. One is the chat on the right side of the screen, and I assume it's on the right for everyone. And the other is these questions below the screen, okay? So I will try to monitor the chat while I am talking, okay? I won't try, I will, because I want to know when you have questions about what I'm saying. So the chat is great when you have a question about what I'm saying right then, and you're trying to get my attention, or you're just sharing something with someone else and interacting with others, and you want an answer, which I'm happy to give you. The questions below the screen, you should post there when you don't need it answered right at that moment, or it's not relevant to that moment, but you want to make sure I answer it today in this webcast. And I will go through all those questions by the end of this hour, I promise. Okay. So chat for immediate questions, under the screen for like questions for a little bit later. Okay. All right. That's the intro, and let me get right into the content. I've got 2 monitors set up here, so just got to manage a few things, and I'm going to try to share my screen so that we can walk through this together. Let me see how this works. Let me get it going. Whoops, that did not do it. Oh, here we are. Share my screen. All right. Okay. So I think right now you can see me and the screen. I'm actually going to close. Let's see. I think I will hide me so that you can see the entire screen. Okay. So I think that worked. Okay. If anyone could just give me confirmation, can you see my screen? All right. Great. I will trust it. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. So this is the course page. You've probably seen it. But I'm just going to give you some commentary on it and walk through some of the key points. And I'll try to do it quickly. I don't want this to get too boring. But what is this course about? This course is about mastering machine learning in Python. If you're not interested in machine learning, this is not the course for you. That part is critically important. Now, one question I get often is, well, I really want to get good at machine learning. I don't know if like text is what I want to focus on. That's okay. Text is the content we will focus on in this course in terms of machine learning with text, but it's not critically important that you are passionate about working with text data. And in fact, you don't need any experience working with text data. You don't even have to be convinced it's useful. I promise you will see that working with text is critically useful in machine learning because there is so much unstructured text data out there. Like everything that is text, there's so much more text out there than just numerical data sets. Okay. So if you see the value of text-based data, this is definitely a good course for you, even if you're not sold on it, but you're just interested in mastering machine learning. I think this also is a good course for you. Okay. I am going to focus in the course on hands-on experience. This is not a theory course. We're not going to learn things just to learn them and know a bit about them, with the tiny exception of I'll introduce like an overview of natural language processing and tell you a lot about what you can do with it without us doing it. Okay. So with that exception, it is very much a hands-on course. It is a complex topic. And so I want you to get the support and feedback you need. Okay. So I want you to get really far with machine learning with text during the course of these 8 weeks. And ultimately, I want you to be able to apply these techniques to your own problems. Okay. So I've designed the course in a way that there's a lot you can reuse and reapply to other problems, as well as understanding the entire workflow. Okay. So I love this from Ryan, one of my students from April, and I was able to apply topics covered during my first week to work. That was awesome when he shot me an email with that. I thought, great, you're 1 week in and you're already using it at work. And I just think that's awesome. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Ari asked, how much of the course will be done outside of scikit-learn and NLTK? I will come back to libraries in a little bit. Yeah, I'll come back to that in a little bit. Thanks for the question. Okay. So how is this course different from other online courses? I will not, you probably also know the pain of bad online courses. I've taken some, you probably have too. And I'm not going to focus on what's wrong with other courses. Some are great, some are not, a lot are not, but that's not important. What's important is, what am I going to do in this course that is kind of different and I think better? We are going to be application focused. Okay. Yeah, I really want you to be able to apply what you're learning. Okay. You're going to understand every single line of code we write. I say that, I mean, there's one thing in the course that I I remember skimming over it because it wasn't important for you to understand that thing. But basically, I am walking through every line of code because I want you to be able to reuse this code knowledgeably and modify it to suit your needs. You're going to get practice with what we're learning, okay? And you're going to get feedback when you submit homeworks, okay? So you don't have to submit homeworks. You don't even have to do homeworks. You're all adults. You can do what you like. But if you do the homeworks, you submit them, you're going to get feedback from us, okay? When you need help during this course, that will be myself and my assistant, Alex Igorenkov. It's just the two of us. Alex is amazing. He used to be one of my in-person students. Then he was my TA. Now he's an instructor as well. He's worked with me on the 2 previous versions of the course. He is a data scientist just like myself. We're the ones who are going to help you. And I know I'm comparing this between help from us versus a volunteer TA. I'm not criticizing volunteer TAs. There are lots of great volunteer TAs. I used to be one for the first course in Coursera's data science specialization. Feel free to post in the chat if you've ever taken that course. I was a TA for 16 sessions in a row, I think. And, I was a good TA, but I was a TA when I felt like it. And when I had time, okay? So that's the difference here between this and most courses is we are dedicated to your success. Someone asked, what's a volunteer TA? A TA stands for teaching assistant. I realize now maybe that's not universal terminology. Basically, like on a Coursera course, those are previous students who help out, okay? They volunteer. They're not being paid to be there. There's no requirement that they help every day. It's just they're there to help. But we will be there to help every day. Okay. Okay. I think that's all I'll say about how it's different. I'm going to scroll down to a bit of the course description. And this is an 8-week course. That 8 weeks does not start today. That 8 weeks starts the first day of the course. You get a full 8 weeks. And it runs from September 28th, a Wednesday, through a Tuesday, November 22nd, okay? And what is included in the course? 14 hours of videos, okay? If you watched my mini lessons that I sent out in my email newsletter, you've seen a sample of what this looks like. These are recorded from past classes. I have taught this course live before. Why is it recorded this time instead of live? Well, there are lots of things to like about live classes, but there's a couple huge problems. One is I have an audience from around the world that wants to take this class, and it's hard to get everyone or even a majority in the same place at the same time online for a class. And second, I had a lot of students that are just like, I want to watch this class whenever I want. I want to watch it in an hour chunk, not a 3-hour chunk. I get tired during class. I want to pause it. I don't have a 3-hour block to sit and participate in a class. So I want to use the videos. Or people who say, I like to watch the videos faster because you talk too slow, which is fine. I'm not offended by that. Some people, a lot of people, I think, will go back in the video to help them if they missed a point. They don't get it. You can immediately go back in a video. So that's why I like using video, and I'm doing it this way. And the classes are carefully edited. I've spent over 50 hours, 50 hours editing the videos so that they're as packed as possible and there's not a lot of time wasted in there. Every moment that's in there is there for a reason, okay? Instructor-led webcasts. This is a new thing I'm doing. This is going to be great. We're going to do this twice a week for half an hour. You can show up if you want. You can watch the recording if you don't. I'll be answering your questions. And when there aren't questions, I'm going to teach stuff that's not in the videos and the rest of the course material. Okay. So that's going to be really fun. We're going to use Crowdcast. So if hopefully you're liking this platform, this is exactly what the live webcasts twice a week are going to feel like. So there you go. Two questions up here. What's the average daily effort required? Just a ballpark based on past incoming student skills. Great question. Past students have told me 6 to 8 hours per week. Okay. So 40 to 60 hours, I think, over the course of your 8 weeks is, I think, what folks have said. 5 to 8 hours a week. Sorry, that's what people have said. Depends upon your experience and how deep you want to go. Philippe, asked, what time will these webcasts be? It's on the page below, and you'll see it again. Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I tried really hard to pick 2 times that would appeal to nearly everyone in the world. At least one of those times hopefully works for you, but you can always watch the recording. Okay. Can we have the instructor-led webcast over the weekend? Well, I realize for some, the Sunday night is not the weekend. For many of my students, it is. I tried really hard to come up with 2 times that would work for as many people as possible. Hopefully one of those can work for you. I understand if neither is ideal. Hopefully the recordings are good enough for you. You can always post it ahead of time and watch a recording, see the chat. So hopefully that it's helpful. Wolfgang asks, will the topics for the 2 webcasts in a given week be the same? I don't think so, but I'm not sure. This is a new thing I'm trying, so I don't want to promise it will be one way or another. I tend to think it will be different. I tend to think there will be questions, and I will spend a lot of time on that. And maybe I'll teach the same thing each webcast if I'm adding an additional little lesson. But it's really hard to say. What I will say is, even if you don't want to attend, it should be really easy to kind of scan through that 30 minutes sometime during the week, see if you missed anything. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful. It's a new thing, so I don't want to promise it'll be a certain way. Well-commented lesson notebooks. If you've gone through my scikit-learn series or my Pandas series and seen the notebooks, you know that I am obsessive about really good comments. You will get well-commented code, okay? The homework assignments, they are long and thorough. They contain a lot of guidance to help you. The solutions are long and detailed, and everything is explained. So I really want you to get a lot out of the homeworks. Feedback. We will usually give feedback on your homework within 1 day, within 24 hours. Sometimes it'll be 48 because, it takes time. So it'll mostly be Alex, but I will be doing any he's not able to get to in time because we want to make sure you get feedback quickly. Eleanor asks, how long do the homeworks take per week? So that is baked into the hours estimate of 5 to 8 hours a week. So just to give you a preview, videos per week is going to be usually 2 to 3 hours. And you could easily spend a ton of hours going through the pre-class work or the post-class resources. Most people pick a thing or 2 in there and consume those during the week. But that amount of time is up to you. For the homeworks in particular, they differ. The shortest homework for someone who's already comfortable with the material is probably 30 minutes to an hour. One of the homeworks is super long and pretty hard. And even if you're pretty good already at some of this material, it would take you a couple hours. But you could take a lot longer. Now, that being said, the homeworks, what was I going to say about that? So I was reading the next question and you lose your train of thought. The homeworks. Oh, okay. This is super important. A week 2 homework, which by the way is, I think, the longest homework. You don't have to submit it during week 2. You have 8 weeks. So it's, if you're finding that a homework is taking too long, don't worry. There's no homework deadline other than you have 8 weeks for everything. Okay. You have 8 weeks total for the course. So the week 2 homework, you have 7 weeks to work on if you really want to. Okay. So the homeworks will probably on average take a few hours, but it's really dependent upon your level of fluency. No worries, Philippe or Felipe. Yes, the materials are both Python 2 and 3 compatible. Okay. Let's see. I want to make sure I get through all this stuff, so I will try to move quickly here. Slack team, that's where you can ask myself and Alex for help. We will usually get back to you within like 12 hours, if not sooner, but rarely will it be more than 24 hours before you get an answer. There are some pre-class resources before every class. There are post-class resources after every class. And new this time around is a private Kaggle competition, which should be fun. I love private Kaggle competitions. And I've done them before in my in-person courses, and I think this will be a lot of fun, completely optional. Let's see. Understand way. Pankaj, I'm not clear on your question. Feel free to clarify or shoot me an email afterwards. I'm not clear about that. Eleanor asks for intermediate. I read this course is for intermediate Python users. I'm more of a beginner. Does this mean I won't be able to do the coursework? Let me, that's a tough one. Let me get back to that in a little bit. And when I talk about prerequisites, and I think you'll see, you'll have a better sense. And if it doesn't give you enough sense, let's communicate over email and figure it out. Okay. Okay. And finally, money back guarantee, just so you know, out of 100+ students, only one person's ever asked. They were just like, I don't have time for this, never mind. And that's fine. Within the first 2 weeks of the course, no problem. I want this course to be a great fit for you. I'm just saying it's only happened once where anyone's ever done it. So, okay. Course outline. There's a lot of detail in here. I will save most of this. I'm just going to give a high level overview real quick. There's 5 modules. These modules are spread out over 6 weeks. Module 1 is about the basic machine learning workflow for working with text. Module 2 is about using natural language processing techniques to benefit your machine learning models. Okay, so this is not a kind of like, this is not a classic NLP course. Okay, this is a machine learning course that uses natural language processing to its benefit. Okay, and I could spend a while talking about that. I had a lesson in my mini course that talks about kind of the difference between machine learning with text and natural language processing. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. This is a machine learning focused course. Okay. Module 3 is about extracting text features from messy data sources using regular expressions. If you've tried to learn regex, regular expressions, and you found it painful or confusing, I promise I teach it in a different way, and I think it's better. I'll let you decide ultimately. But I think regex is a powerful tool, and you'll be glad you learned it. And if you've had pain in the past learning it, it will be better this time around. Okay, module 4 is about the entire workflow for solving a text-based data science problem using scikit-learn and pandas. So I want you to get good at using scikit-learn and pandas together. And I want you to see and participate in how you work a data science problem from start to finish. Not just how do we do the machine learning part, but how do we do the entire workflow, okay? And then module 5, super fun, advanced machine learning techniques. This is the stuff that a lot of people on YouTube keep asking me for. It's just in the course. I haven't put it publicly, but this is advanced machine learning techniques to improve model accuracy and the efficiency of your workflow, okay? So most of this, it's hard to understand if you haven't done it, and I don't expect, maybe there's a few of you who have used all of these techniques, but for the most part, this is new material for everyone, okay? Lots of cool techniques you will learn in scikit-learn especially. Okay, couple questions. I'll catch up on that. Pankaj, being a working professional, I only find time over the weekend. Yeah, I think that I will say 2 things. One is if you are dedicated and you can really put in time, and you can really focus on it for an entire day on the weekend, yes. One downside is, I want you, if you get stuck, to ask a question. And if you get stuck at one point and then you ask a question and you really can't get any further without it, there's some benefit in kind of splitting up your work over multiple days. So that would be the downside. But ultimately, it's up to you. Can you focus for that amount of time on a weekend day? Yeah, I mean, I definitely have had students do that. Okay. It's just there's a downside of being able to ask questions at the right time. S asks, is the Kaggle competition similar to a data science project that we can publish on a resume? It is a data science project, but it's like a Kaggle competition in that I've defined the problem for you and I've given you the data. So I don't know if, I think the most valuable projects for a resume in particular are projects you've done from start to finish. And the Kaggle competition is not I'm giving you the data set and defining the problem. So whether or not you would put it on your resume, it's hard to say, but I tend to think start to finish projects are best. Okay. And Marvin suggested an edX course on Python that I've heard is very good. So feel free to check that out. Okay. Boy, I know I'm probably not as far in this page as I should be, but that's okay. I'm answering questions and we're getting to the right stuff. So, okay. When is the course? September 28th through November 22nd. Is this a beginner course? And actually, there's this neat feature where, let me click on start answering. Let's see. Sorry, 1 second. This is just to be of benefit to folks who will watch this later. Okay. So I just clicked a button that indicates I'm answering the question, what are the prerequisites for this course? And that will answer a couple questions folks have asked. So this is not a beginner course, but what does that mean? Okay, here are the prerequisites. You should be comfortable working in Python. Now, what does comfortable mean? Comfortable does not mean you are a master. It means you understand the basic data structures. You know, how to use functions. You know how to run code. You know how to use lists and dictionaries, maybe sets, maybe tuples. You know how to create strings. You know how to interact with the interpreter. You're comfortable with your environment. I don't care if I welcome you to be a Python master, but that is not required for the course. So it's hard for me to say, how comfortable do you need to be? It should not make you nervous to open your Python environment and start working on, It's really hard for me to give like a general answer other than comfortable with data structures and writing basic code. I'll come back to one other thing that might help on that. Second prerequisite, you should understand the basic principles of machine learning. And almost everyone that is here has said in the poll that they do understand the basic machine learning principles. Okay. Probably more challenging. You should be comfortable using scikit-learn. Okay. So scikit-learn, I've got a video series on that. This, if you are wondering if the course is right for you, I would say going through, if you've never used scikit-learn, it is possible that you, in fact, it's very possible you can be ready for the course in 2 weeks. Now, I've had students that have never used scikit-learn and sign up for the course and get ready and are successful in the course. Most of them have built machine learning models in other languages, and they're just picking up like how scikit-learn thinks. Now, if you've never built a machine learning model in any language, it's hard for me to say whether you can be ready in 2 weeks. I will say I have an excellent 4-hour video series on machine learning with scikit-learn. It will take you from the basics to intermediate level. Okay. I highly recommend going through that. And if the level of code, and this may answer your question, Eleanor, I think, if the level of code in the scikit-learn video series is not too challenging for you, if you can get it, then you're going to be fine with the level of Python in the course. Okay. So that's a tricky one. Feel free to email me more about this point and we can talk through it. But you do like this course, the master course, does not assumes you know some scikit-learn. Okay. Basic scikit-learn. You should have at least limited experience with pandas. You don't have to be fluent. You can definitely get up to speed on pandas between now and the course, and you don't need any advanced math skills. Okay. Let me answer some questions. If I'm late on some homework, will I be able to submit and get feedback after November 22nd? No, I'm sorry. I can't commit myself or my assistant to, kind of help for the course after November 22nd. So that is the end date of the course. I will be in Slack every now and then for the students, and I'm happy to answer questions, but we won't be doing homework review after the course officially ends. Let's see. Will this be a paid course? Yes. And I'll get to the cost in a little bit. Great. Eleanor asks, can you share the scikit-learn video series you just mentioned? Yes, I will just paste it in, I was going to say Slack, but in Crowdcast right now. Check that out. Okay. It is already 2:40 Eastern time. So I will try to browse through. Let's see. Let me go back to questions and done answering. Okay. Next up, how do I know whether I'm ready for the course? We talked a little bit about that. What types of people have taken this course? A lot of different folks, a lot more than I expected. You are most likely, if you're wondering, am I going to be out of place in this course? The answer is probably no. I've had a lot of analytics folks and data science folks take the course, business intelligence folks, a data journalist, lots of engineers, directors of engineering, folks who manage data scientists, as well as kind of classic scientists, researchers, computational linguists, mathematicians, but also plenty of grad students, actually a lot of grad students. And then people whose at least job title doesn't necessarily indicate data or science, like a creative director, project managers, Python instructors. I even had one Kaggle master enroll, which was pretty cool. Yeah. Why should I learn how to work with text? Well, I don't have time to really sell you in depth, but most knowledge out there is in text form. And if you can learn how to use text in your machine learning models, you are far better off in terms of how your fluency with machine learning. Okay. This slide, I did not make it. Let me just make sure you know, I don't make beautiful images like this. It's not my forte. Let's see. Let me kind of continue on lower. As I mentioned previously, Python 2 and Python 3, both 100% acceptable. What libraries will we be using? This was asked previously. We're going to be focusing on scikit-learn and some pandas. We're going to use the RE module for regular expressions. We're going to make limited use of NumPy, SciPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and TextBlob. You do not need to know anything about modules other than scikit-learn and pandas to enroll in the course. Okay, so don't worry if you've never even heard of SciPy or Seaborn. Okay, we'll use them a little bit. We will not, however, be using NLTK, and that's the subject for a longer discussion. But basically, my philosophy is learn a small amount of libraries in Python and learn how to use them really well. And if you are machine learning focused, you probably belong in scikit-learn rather than NLTK. And there's a lot you can do with text in scikit-learn. So I find NLTK unnecessary for almost all of what I do. Okay. So NLTK definitely has its place for classic natural language processing, but scikit-learn is where we're going to spend our time, and you'll find you can do a ton in terms of machine learning with text data. Now, that brings us back to one of the poll questions that I wanted to mention, which was, what's your experience with natural language processing? And I want you to know you do not need to know anything about natural language processing in terms of enrolling in this course. Even if you have no understanding of it, totally fine, okay? It's different when I'm talking about machine learning. You do need some knowledge there, and it looks like almost all of you have some already, okay? But natural language processing, you do not need to know anything about NLP in order to enroll in this course. Okay. Let's see. The course material is definitely up to date. I challenge you to find other online courses out there where every time a library gets every time a library gets updated, the instructor goes back and makes sure all their code still works. So like scikit-learn 0.18 is going to come out, and there's going to be some breaking API changes, maybe in the next month or two, I think. I will go and update the code so that it still works, or at least provide different options so you can make sure the code you are getting from this course always works. I continue to work on this course, adding resources, improving lessons. I've still got more stuff I'm going to record or create this time around. Okay. Okay. We've already talked a lot about how this course is different from other courses, so I'm going to kind of skip by that. You know a little bit about me, and you can read more if you like. Alex, as I've said, is excellent, and we are super lucky to have him in the course. It's not just like I posted an ad, like I desperately need a helper. This is someone I know and trust. And in fact, many times he answers questions and I think, man, Alex, you know more than me in certain things. So we are super lucky to have him here. Pankaj asked, any specific reason not to choose Python and not R for this course? I have a long blog post called Should You Teach Python or R for Data Science? And I enjoy both. And this course is in Python, but you could create a course like this in R. I will say I don't like working with text in R personally. I find the packages clunky. As well, I prefer machine learning in Python, but that is a personal preference, which is why the course is in Python. Let's see. Miguel, which distribution do you recommend to follow the course Anaconda? Yes, I do recommend Anaconda, but you are welcome to use whatever distribution you like, or you can install packages yourself. When you enroll, you'll get instructions for getting set up. I'm interested in that link on R versus Python. I will make a note to paste that. R versus Python. And I'll paste it in the chat for you, Philippe. Annie Ruda, will we have access to materials after the course? Oh, thank you. Will we have access to the resources after the course is finished? The answer is yes. And I will say more about that in a moment. Okay. We're getting near the bottom. And then I will take all the rest of the questions. Let's see. 40 to 60 hours to complete the course, 5 to 8 hours per week on average. I've designed this course in a way that you can stay on track with it more easily, I think. And here's how we're going to do it. The course materials will be released to you 1 week at a time for 6 weeks, which should help you to focus. So that'll be materials get released on Wednesday. The webcasts will occur on Sunday and Tuesday so that you have a chance to work through some of the material, ask some questions in Slack, and then if you like, attend the webcast, get more depth on a particular topic or assignment. Okay, so that will hopefully help you to focus on the material and keep track because it is a lot of material. And I want you to succeed in the course. I don't want to just sell you a course. I want you to get a lot out of it. And I think this will help. Okay. Homework feedback will come in a day or two. Slack feedback will come usually in about a day. The course material will be released over the course of 6 weeks. And the final 2 weeks is the Kaggle competition. Now, if you fall behind during the course, you don't have to do the Kaggle competition. Well, it's always optional, but you can spend the last 2 weeks catching up. And this addresses someone's question about, what if I don't submit it in time? Well, I can't accept it after in terms of giving you feedback, but we are giving you 2 weeks of buffer to catch up because this has happened frequently before where folks are like, oh, I just need a little more time. Okay. Pankaj, I'll come back to, I'll have to come back to that. Let me just make a note about the Python stack. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Okay, what if I don't have enough time to complete the course? Oh, I want to, let's see. So, one of the questions, it was Joseph's question, will we continue to have access to the course materials after the course ends? And I want to make very clear, yes, when you enroll in this course, you will have lifetime access to everything in the course. The only thing that ends on November 22nd is assistance from the instructors. Okay, so the videos, the materials, the notebooks, as I continue to update notebooks and add things to the course, add new resources, you will continue to get access to it. So it really is lifetime access. Okay. Let's see what else. And then I promise I will jump over to the rest of the questions. You will receive a certificate of completion at the end of the course. I do send out anonymous post-course surveys at the end of the course. Students are asked to rate the course on a scale from 1 to 5, from poor to excellent. You can read my ratings right there. Very close to 5 on average in terms of content quality, instructional quality, and value provided by the course. 100% of students have said that it helped them to make progress to their own personal or professional goals. Okay. So take that for what it's worth. but past students have been happy. Harvey has been really nice in just kind of sharing data school with others, and basically said this course is better than what he takes at university courses, which I really appreciate. As I mentioned, I offer what I call a love it or leave it guarantee, and I'm happy to give you a full refund if you if you enroll and you find this is not the course for me, or I just don't like it. Okay. Okay. Course options. So I'll just talk briefly about this, and you can ask me more questions about this if you like. But let me find that. What is the difference? Benny asks, what's the difference between the master and the standard course? So the difference between the master and the standard course, they are the same exact content. Not a thing is different in terms of the actual course content and the videos. Okay. However, the standard course does not include instructor support. So what does that mean? The master course students have access to the live webcasts twice a week. They have an ability to submit their homeworks to us for feedback. Master course students can get help from the instructors in Slack, and master course students can compete in the private Kaggle competition. Okay. So those are the four things that differentiate the master course from the standard course. By all means, if those four things are not of interest to you, I would encourage you to enroll in the standard course, because I mean, why pay more than what you need? Okay. So the standard course is great if you just want to work through it on your own. You don't need any help. You don't want to ask questions. And the private Kaggle competition doesn't interest you. Okay. Aaron Prasad asks, do we get a recording of the webcast? That is not part of the standard course. So the webcasts are really just, it's a little community we'll have in the master course, myself, Alex, and 50 students. And the webcasts are just for them, both in terms of the recordings and in terms of participating live. Okay. All right. Let's see. What else did I want to mention? Oh, well, of course, you asked how much does the course cost? The master course is $595. The standard course is $295. Okay. Both include lifetime access to the course. Both include a money-back guarantee. I realize that this course is not affordable for many people, and I understand. I totally get that. I offer a lot of free content. I'm going to continue for years to come to put out more free content, and I want my free content to be better than what everyone else is selling. But my premium content that I take hundreds of hours to build, well, my free content takes hundreds of hours also, but some content I do sell, and I hope that you'll find it's the best content out there in this particular topic area. Okay, I've said a lot about the structure of the course, but just kind of a quick recap. When you enroll in the course, you'll get immediate. Within a day, you'll get access to the Slack team and pre-course materials. So if you are asking me, like, what do I need to do to prepare for the course, to be successful in the course, you will get that as soon as you have enrolled in the course, or within a day. Okay. Starting September 28th, every Wednesday, a new week of course materials will be released. Live webcasts begin October 2nd, every Sunday and Tuesday. Homework solutions will be posted a week after the homework has been released, and the course ends on November 22nd. I've mentioned the timing of the live webcasts: Sunday at 8 and Tuesday at 1, both PM, both Eastern time. Figure out if one of those is a good fit for you. The Kaggle competition is during the last 2 weeks of the course. And as I said, you can use those 2 weeks for your own purposes just to catch up. Will the course sell out? I don't know. It might. I set a limit because I can't, myself and Alex can't support an unlimited number of students. We want to provide a high quality student experience for every person that enrolls. And we can't give our attention like answering questions and reviewing homework with an unlimited number of students. So I've set it at 50 students. It has sold out before, twice before, but I can't tell you whether it's going to sell out. I just don't know, but it could happen. Okay, I think that's it for what I had kind of prepared. I'm going to switch back to my face, and then I'm going to start answering some of the other questions. And in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I'm going to have to pause. I'm going to like actually pause the webcast. Sorry, whoops. Okay. All right. My apologies. I need to share my, here we go. Sorry, I'm new to Crowdcast, and let's see how I can, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so you should be able to see my face once again and not my screen. Okay, so great. So I'm going to start answering some of the questions below the page, but in 2 minutes, I'm going to stop for about 30 seconds and turn on course enrollment. So if you already know you want to enroll, I would encourage you to go ahead and enroll. Okay, let's see here. Other questions. Top voted question. Okay, will there be a course in the winter in case we can't do this one? Great question. There will definitely not be this course in the winter. Okay, so you know, obviously I have to kind of plan my life around when I run these courses, and I'm not available for kind of substantial projects this winter. I've got other things going on. The follow-up question is, when is the next course? And I would say the earliest it might be March, April, May, June next year. I can't give you any more specifics. I haven't decided. I haven't planned it out. I just can't tell you. So if you know you want to take this course, I would encourage you to enroll and try it out. And you've always got lifetime access to the material if you run out of time. And that's why I've given you 8 weeks rather than 6. But it's really up to you what timing works for you. I just can't tell you today when I'm going to offer the course again. Okay. All right. So I am going to answer the rest of these questions as well as ones people have posted in chat. I am going to like literally take 30 seconds, and I need to launch the course using Gumroad. I will paste a link you can use to enroll. And thank you for bearing with me while I do this. And I think that's that. And publish. Okay. You should, I'm going to paste a link in chat to enrolling in the course. If you're interested in enrolling, you should be able to enroll right now. And let me know if that link doesn't work. Okay. And let me get back to answering your questions. And I will, just so you know, I will stick around here while there continue to be questions about the course. You're welcome to drop off if you've got what you need. Yeah. Next question. Okay. From Jonah Keegan. In my limited experience, the often boring data cleaning process for unstructured text is equal in length and complexity to the sexy and fun classification work. Does the course cover the data cleaning stuff? That's essentially what he said. And I like that you describe classification, modeling, and analysis as sexy. Yes, the answer is yes. We're going to be building a data set. We're going to be extracting features. We are going to be dealing with talking about how we handle Unicode errors. We're going to be using regular expressions to clean messy data sets. We're going to be using pandas to get good at, we're going to learn how to use pandas to clean data. Okay. So the answer is yes. There's a lot of modeling, of course, but I try to provide a realistic workflow. Okay. Eric just said, enrolled. See you guys on the inside. Eric, welcome to the course. Glad to have you. See you at the next PyCon, probably. Okay, next question from Saul. What NLP problems are best solved via machine learning versus classical language analysis approaches? Great question. So machine learning and NLP. Okay, here's how I would summarize it. Okay, supervised machine learning is, its primary focus is prediction and predictive accuracy, and understanding is a secondary goal of the methodology. I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about the methodology. Understanding is a secondary consideration. It's a side effect, okay? Natural language processing and those classic techniques, they are focused on analysis and understanding first and prediction second, okay? In fact, there's lots of NLP that's not focused on prediction. It's just understanding. So it all depends what your interests are. If you are into machine learning, you are probably interested in prediction and maybe interested in understanding your models in depth. And we will talk about that, but that's not core to the machine learning workflow. Whereas the NLP classic procedures focus on analysis and understanding. If you're someone who already knows some NLP, this course provides kind of like an alternative mindset, okay? A different way of thinking about how to solve problems with text. Okay. All right, let me just catch up here. Arun Prasad has enrolled, awesome. Eleanor enrolled, awesome. Howard says enrollment page, the only option is standard class, not master. Just use this link right here that I'm going to paste in Slack. Whoops. It's telling me I've already sent that message, but I'll say use this link. Okay. Let me know if you have any problems. Once we're done with the webcast, shoot me an email and I'm happy to troubleshoot any problems folks are running into with enrolling. Okay. I'll answer these, and then there were some other questions I missed in the chat. All right, what is the demand for these skills, machine learning with text, in the job market compared to other specializations? Love it, great question. So let me say about the course. It will help you become better at machine learning, and machine learning is a super useful data science skill. It's core to the data science workflow. Most people would say, I would agree. So even if you're not interested in the text part, it will help you become more marketable as a data scientist because you are better at machine learning. That being said, being able to work with text makes you a lot more flexible in that a lot of times, I mean, you as a data scientist are generating questions and answering them. And questions don't always come with data sets. Here's the data set you need to use to answer it. Rather, you need to be able to find data sets and create data sets. And when you can work with text, you can work with a lot more data. So that really helps. The The final thing I would say is that even if you don't find most job postings saying, I want someone who could do machine learning with text, I think you will find if you ask people in like an interview, meaning you're interviewing, you would find that they have data that is in text form that they may not even have thought about working with, but you as the data scientist can provide that expertise. Okay. Hope that helps. Okay. Miguel, will the techniques and tools taught in this course also be useful for machine learning for languages different than English? Yes. So there's a couple things. One is I do talk about text encodings and about Unicode. I teach how to deal with Unicode errors. Okay. And all of those processes will work with other languages. Now, that being said, if a language does not use kind of discrete, like English, words are separated by spaces, right? German, Spanish also is the case. In a language where the units, the tokens are not words, or the tokens are not necessarily discrete and separated by spaces, it can be harder to apply the same approaches. But for most languages, yes, the techniques learned in this course can be applied to other languages. Okay. I may have fumbled through that. Let me know, Miguel, if I failed to answer your question. I keep seeing the chat and I get distracted and I'm like, no, focus on answering the question you're answering. Okay. Lots more questions here. All right, let's see. For Marvin, for normal practice in programming, you can use simple problems from daily life, calculating credits or similar topics. What daily topics could be used for training in machine learning? I'm not sure I understand that question. I'm sorry, Marvin. Maybe you could comment and let me know some more details. If you're asking like, give me some examples of where I could use this. Let's see, if you're on Twitter, you might want to predict how many retweets a tweet is going to get based upon the content of that tweet. You could build a summarizer of your emails. Actually, that'd be a great project. We'll talk about text summarization in the course, and you could build a program that does summarization for you. You could find, it's kind of unlimited. Anything where you have training data, meaning some sort of target or response, and you have text that's related to that response, that's a great application of machine learning with text. I don't know if that was super helpful. My apologies if that was not what you were asking. Please feel free to comment. Okay. Let's see. I'd like to know how intent analysis done by chatbots like wit.ai and api.ai works. Will your course teach me how? Intent analysis. I'm not familiar with that. I could speculate as to what intent analysis means. If you frame it as a supervised machine learning problem, probably is a classification problem, meaning, here's an example. You work for a company and that company receives, actually, let me just go straight to your chatbots example. You build a chatbot for a company and that company uses it for customer support, and they want to predict whether something someone has typed is about a complaint or is praise or is a billing question or something like that. You could frame that as a supervised machine learning classification problem, okay? And that you might say that is intent analysis. I don't know. I don't know the definition of that term, but determining intent, that's just a possible response to a machine learning, supervised machine learning. That's the response value. What is the category? You're just framing it as a classification problem. Now, the challenge is going to be, how do you engineer the appropriate features that will allow you to build a useful model to do that classification? And feature engineering, we will talk about in the course. Whether or not the things we do in the course will produce a successful intent analysis model, I don't know, because I don't know what features you need to do that. But I bet you could build something simple that would categorize chat messages into a small number of categories, or analyze sentiment, or something like that. Hopefully that helps. Okay, how to master machine learning. How to master machine learning. Master is a strong word, but the things I would say is my video series, Introduction to Machine Learning with scikit-learn, is a good place to start if you're a Python user. After that, quite frankly, I would encourage you to take this course, because there aren't a lot of good courses on machine learning in Python with scikit-learn, and I would encourage you to do it in scikit-learn. But mastering machine learning, that's like a lifetime pursuit. There are lots of good books. I will comment on this afterwards, but that's my short answer. Siona asked, would I need to be familiar with Python already? Yes, unless you are a quick study, and in the next 2 weeks. Some people can learn a new programming language quickly, okay? If you are someone who learns programming languages quickly and can get up to speed on that in 2 weeks and get up to speed on scikit-learn, then it might be the right course for you still. But in general, I would think it's probably not the right timing for you if you don't already have some comfort with Python. Hal, will there be a way for students of the course to connect with each other after or during the course? Yes. During the course, you will have access to a Slack team where you can connect with one another. In fact, you'll have it later today if you enroll. And so we will connect that way. You will also be in the same Slack team with alumni of the course. I want people to ideally collaborate with one another on projects, help each other out. And I will be in there even after November 22nd. As I said, I just won't be there to provide you with necessarily timely help. Like, I'm not going to be there every day answering questions, and I'm not there to do homework review after November 22nd, but I will continue to be there answering questions, sharing resources, sharing jobs, posting other opportunities, etc. All right, Hal, could you give a couple example applications one could build after your course? Sure, you could build something to do sentiment analysis. You could build a simple text summarization tool. You can build anything that uses machine learning with text. And in fact, anything you want to do with machine learning, you will be better at it after this course. And I think this course will help to structure your mind in terms of what is a good machine learning problem for supervised machine learning. Here's something. So there's a podcast I'm going to be on in the Python ecosystem. I won't say which one yet, that I'll be on probably later this year or next year. And they publish their transcripts. And when they told me that, I was like, oh, you know what? I bet you could, let's build a model to predict how many listeners or downloads you're going to get from your podcast based on the text present in your transcripts. Very cool. I mean, maybe that's not useful to them, but it's a fun application. Anything where you want to use text in a machine learning model, that's what you will be better at after this course. Could you please send the link to today's lecture as, oh, sorry. Can you please send the link to today's lecture as I am late? No worries. You can actually stay on this page and you will have, you can actually stay on this page and view the recording like within a minute or two after it ends. Okay. So you don't need a different link. You will have, this is the link. You're on the right page. Okay. Let me go back to the chat because a lot of people have asked questions that I think I skipped over. Okay. All right. Back to Adisak. Will we be able to access the new added content of the new class in the future too? The answer is yes. If I, as I update the course, I will continue to make additions to the course in the future. You will have permanent access to that. Now, I'm probably not going to build new lessons. I might. You never know. I've continued to build, like my past students who enrolled a year ago are still getting updates. Okay. They got a ton of updates, but you will have access. If I build a separate class, you perhaps obviously won't have access, but any updates to this course, you will. We get a recording of the webcast. Aaron Prasad asks, the answer is yes, it will be available on this page. Philippe asked, what is the next session after this one? I think you were asking about session of this course. And as I mentioned, I won't know. It's probably no earlier than like 6 months from now, okay, in terms of the master course. Where do we sign up? If you, Eleanor asks, I think you've already seen the answer to that, so I'll skip it. Adisak asks, can you talk more about the homework? What kind of data will it be about? Great question. So I select data sets and like one of the homeworks is on Yelp data. One of the homeworks is on McDonald's customer comment data. Another is on data scraped from a website. Another is on data from Stack Overflow, actually in a couple different ways. So there's all kinds of data sets. The homeworks I structure as like, here's the problem, and here are the 8 tasks I want you to go through, and the tasks get increasingly difficult as you go on. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. Mark, will there be a certificate? Yes, you will receive a certificate of completion at the end of the course. It's not dependent on you proving a fluency. If, by the way, there are no grades in this course, if I haven't said already. So the certificate is offered regardless. As at the end of the course, you just request it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I think that is old. Eric was asking about the upgrade link. That was from folks who enrolled in my standard course are able to upgrade to the master course later on. And so he pasted the upgrade link, and that is only, let me be very clear, okay? The upgrade link is only for those, and in fact, I'm just gonna delete it because you'll have it in your email if you need it. Whoops, hope I didn't delete the wrong link, but well, seems like there's a bug here. Oh, I'm misunderstanding the way their delete system works, I think. Anyway, the point is, the upgrade link, which I keep failing to delete, is for people who have already paid for the standard course and are upgrading to the master course. Okay. Pankaj, can we have access to the complete content as soon as we enroll? Well, if the standard course, the answer is yes. It's kind of work through the course on your own. The master course materials will be released once a week, and that's just how I've decided to do it. And there are lots of reasons. I'm happy to talk with you offline about that if you like. Let's see. Howard asks about the $100 discount. If you're someone who has access to a discount link for various reasons, like people in my data school community have access, that link is in your email, and that's where you should go to get that. Let's see. Akeem asks, I have a question. Are we going to cover deep learning? This course is not going to cover deep learning. I would love to, but I only teach something that I'm proficient at, and courses have to end at some point, and you teach a year-long course on deep learning. I will eventually teach a course on deep learning. It's just not this course. And yeah, it's just, the course has to have its scope. And let me say that I know deep learning has a lot of appeal, but you have to get good, and many people maybe already, but you have to get good at, if you will, regular machine learning first. Like, those are fundamental principles you cannot ignore. And I'm not saying you are trying to ignore them. I'm just saying deep learning builds upon machine learning expertise you've already developed, and you don't need deep learning to solve many problems. It's better solved using simpler, faster approaches much of the time. You use deep learning when you need it. Okay. Miguel, just signed up for the course. Great to have you. Okay. Akeem asks about the link for enrollment. You'll want to get, if you need a special link, you'll need to get it from your email. Just check your email from today. If you're not able to find it, feel free to shoot me a note and I will get back to you. Okay. All right. Still almost all the folks still with me, so I'll continue answering questions. Uma asks, is this course training for the job data scientist? Yes, it is, in the sense of machine learning, and machine learning with text is a useful data science skill. This is not a like, you are not a data scientist, you will be at the end kind of course. And in fact, I don't think such a course exists. Maybe it does if you're doing a full-time course and you spend a couple months or longer. You could potentially, depending upon your previous experience, say, now I am a data scientist and I was not before. So this is a course good for getting better at data science, but it's not kind of the end-all, end-to-end data science course, okay? This focuses on machine learning, which is a small part, but important part of the data science workflow, because data science involves data gathering, data cleaning, okay? Machine learning, data exploration, visualization, communication of results, and so on. Okay. All right. I will just answer it right here, just to mention that, yeah, I did. I'm not going to be covering deep learning in the course. I had mentioned it previously, but I just wanted to tag it here so that people who watch the recording can see that answer directly. And Uma asks, any links to learning Python and scikit quickly? Okay. Python, there are, I actually, scikit-learn, yes, I have a video series, and I will paste it in here as a comment to your question shortly after. Python, there's lots of different options. I'll paste some options here. Quickly is a relative term, but my course will get you up to speed. My video series will get you up to speed on scikit-learn quickly. How long it takes you to become comfortable with Python depends on how good you are at learning programming languages. Okay, Akeem, will you, let me start answering. Will you go a bit deeper in talking about classifiers, their difference in application, or are we going to be focused on the natural language processing itself? Okay, we're going to be focusing on machine learning and natural language processing techniques that will assist in machine learning. So I haven't found stemming to be super useful in in machine learning, and so we won't cover it in the course. Same with lemmatization. Feature engineering is super critical to machine learning, and so we will do a lot of that. Okay, but it's not a classical NLP course. It's a course about machine learning with text as the data source. Okay. All right. I think I have answered every question that has come up. There are still many of you hanging out. I will hang out for another minute or so, just looking for questions, and I'm happy to answer them. If you're ready to head out, or if there are no more questions, I'll just say, go to dataschool.io, click the green button that says click here for detailed course information. It's right below the video. Go there if you're still thinking about the course. I assume it's not going to sell out in the next 5 minutes, but I have no idea. I haven't looked. I hope it hasn't sold out because it's probably, I've gone over then. But I would encourage you to take a little time, look at the course, give some thought to it. And then if you're ready for the course, or if it seems like the right course for you, go ahead and enroll. I'd love to have you. Remember, there's the money back guarantee if you decide it's not right for you. If you have questions, my email address is all over the place on my website, but it's kevin@dataschool.io. Email me anytime. I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you have questions about enrolling, I know it's time sensitive, so I will get back to you like 5 minutes from now. So feel free to let me know if you have more questions or concerns or any problems enrolling. If you have a problem with Gumroad, etc. Okay, couple more questions just got posted, and then I will head out. Uma, may I know, please, the other courses that would help to become a data scientist and the total price if we were interested in learning all those courses? Boy, I don't have a course that I offer that is A to Z on data science. I will paste some links to some Python courses, to a Python course I like, and I'll paste the link to my machine learning course. But you're asking like a really broad question, and it's hard to give. There's no one path to becoming a data scientist. And I know that's not a very satisfying answer, but there's no single path. And it depends on where you're starting with, and it depends on where you want to go. A data scientist does not have to be an expert at every step in the data science workflow. You just need to understand the entire workflow, and you need to be able to go deep in a couple key areas. Machine learning is often one where people go deep. Okay, so I'll do my best to provide some links, but I don't have like an A to Z answer for you. I'm sorry. Workload, hours a week on average, 5 to 8 hours per week, all in terms of consuming the course, going to webcasts, working on the homework, etc., watching the videos, pre-course work. People have said 5 to 8 hours a week. That's just what they've said, so I'm going with it. It will vary based upon the person. Okay. Yeah, I think I've already answered that one. Let's see. Can you please, Penkaj asks, can you please include conceptual working detail of implementing machine learning algorithms in your 100+ carefully selected resources list? I do have many of those links in there. You'll see once you're in the course. If you don't see what you're looking for, you can always let me know, and I will do my best to provide you with links that I haven't already provided. Okay. And I think I've already answered that. Okay, that looks like it. Thank you so much for all of you who joined me, regardless of whether you are planning on enrolling in the course. For those of you who have enrolled, welcome. You will get an email from me later today about it. For those of you who haven't, I'd encourage you to subscribe to the Data School newsletter and keep in touch with Data School. Shoot me an email anytime. Let me know your questions, and I'm happy to help. And I'd love to engage with you for years to come. Final thing is, Crowdcast has this little follow feature. So if you want to hear every time I have a Crowdcast event because you like this format, go ahead and find my name in the chat. And I think you can click on it and then you'll go to another page and you can click follow. So if that interests you, feel free to do that. I think that's it. Again, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to stop the broadcast right now. Thanks.